Hey, what is going on YouTube? In today's video, we are going to continue the playlist on this DevOps engineer path. It's a learning path that essentially I'm creating. This is going to be a short one. We're just kind of covering the basics, some beginner tutorials. So if you have not seen those yet, definitely go check those out, as this is a continuation of that. And in this video, we're going to go ahead and finish out the pipeline. And in this pipeline, it will go ahead and build this Docker file that we had created in the previous video, and it will go ahead push it to the GitLab registry, and then we will go ahead and push all of this files in this directory to an EC2 instance that we have within AWS, and that will therefore update our web server and create a CI/CD pipeline, allowing continuous integration and deployment of our web server. So with that being said, let's get started. So to start, just like we had in the last video, so we have a Docker pipeline project within our GitLab, and here I had added the files. Before, we just kind of created it offline, not related to GitLab. So offline, I had uploaded it to our GitLab project. So we have a server.js, package.json, a Docker file, and here's our pipeline that we had created in the first video. So if we go into our Docker file, this is a simple, just an image. It's going to go ahead and spin up a node.js web server, just like we have here. Here are the two files that we're going to go ahead and use to do so. And then let's go check out the pipeline. So if we go over here on the left side, go to build, go to pipeline editor. Obviously you can use Visual Studio Code, which is what I usually use, but in this case we're just going to do it all in the web UI, as it is just as easy. So this is what we have so far. So we have a build job, and what this will do is it will log into the Docker instance, and it will go ahead using the predefined variables. This is going to log into our GitLab registry, which I'll show you in a minute. So using the Docker login along with the predefined variables of user, the password, and the registry. This I'll show you in the build, just so you guys get an idea of what this exactly means. Again, I did this in the first video, just kind of going over it really quickly. And then we're going to go ahead and build that image, and then we're going to push it to the repository. So today's video, what we're actually going to do is we're going to start with the next job, and we're just going to do a simple deployment job, and that's going to take these files and then SSH and push this into our EC2 instance in the cloud, and therefore updating our web server in the cloud. So let's go ahead and start that now. In the last video, we had already spun up that web server on our EC2 instance, which is what we're going to update today using this pipeline. So I just went ahead and I executed the Docker run command to get that up and running. If you have not seen that video, definitely go back to that video. It is in this playlist. So let's go back to the pipeline, and I just went ahead and copied everything over and got everything done. So we can just kind of go over it line by line instead of typing it out. So the first thing that you want to do is go ahead and create another stage and create a deploy stage. Then we're going to create a deploy job, which falls under the deploy stage. Next, we're going to go ahead and use the before script. As I had explained in the past, this needs to run before the script can run. If any of this fails, then the script will not continue. It's kind of like a prerequisite. Here, we're going to go ahead and run which SSH agent or apt get update if this does not exist. And we're going to install OpenSSH client-y. So to specify that option to update it without having an administrator present. Then we're going to go ahead and see if SSH is running. If not, go ahead and run it. It'll provide that PID when it does so. Then it's going to go ahead and make a directory SSH on this local runner. Then it's going to go ahead and echo the private key, which is something that we have to specify as a variable, and I'll cover that in a minute. Then we're going to use tr to delete any return characters from the private key and pass that information into the key file here, test.pem. This can be whatever you want. This is not always as important. It just depends, I guess, on how that information is brought over. In this case, we were having some errors, so using this got rid of those return characters, but this is fine for now. Then we're going to go ahead and change the permission to 600. So that'll change the permissions for the key file. Then we're going to go on to the script, and in the script, we're going to run SSH keygen. Actually, this is not really necessary anymore. This is something that we'll cover in a future video. Again, this is just a lab environment. We were getting through it quick, and I wanted to get these concepts out to you guys. But so you guys know, what this does is it pretty much gets the public key from the private key, and you can go ahead and use that for the fingerprinting. But in this case, we are not going to perform any host key checking. We had set that option to no. So obviously I trust this. It's just a quick lab, and it's connecting to the EC2 instance. So it's not like it's connecting to a server that I do not know and performing anything crazy. So here we're going to use a -i to specify the identity file, and that's going to be the key file that we had created here, which was derived from the private key variable. Then we're going to log in with the Ubuntu and specify the public IPv4 address, which is from AWS, obviously hosting our web server. And then we're going to run a few commands here, which is probably pretty common. As I discussed before, we're going to log into our Docker instance for GitLab, and then we're going to go ahead and pull in that latest image. So we're going to do sudo docker pull, and that's going to allow us to pull in the latest image that we had just pushed from up here in the registry. And then we're going to go ahead and run docker ps-q, which gets us a list of Docker IDs. So if we go over to our EC2 instance, SSH into it, and we run this command just so you see what's going on, it's going to give us the, so if you run sudo docker ps, we're going to go ahead and see the container ID here, and that's the same thing that we're getting here, just the container ID. And that's important because then we're going to go ahead and kill that. The reason why we do that is because, yes, we're pulling an image, that's great, but we want to also update that web server, right? Obviously, this is simple. This is not what you would do in the real world. It's just getting concepts across, so keep that in mind. So this is not performing any tests or checks or anything like that. We're just simply making changes and deploying it. That's it. End of story. So it's going to look at the container IDs. It's going to kill the container, right? Then let's go ahead and run that container on port 80 and 3000, which is the image that we now have on a machine that we had just pulled in. So now if we go ahead and do commit changes, it's going to go ahead and run that pipeline. While that's running, we'll go back into our settings, go to CI/CD, go to variables, and then under variables, you're going to see EC2 private key, which is something that I had created. So to do so, we go to, I'll just do edit, and I'll just show you guys because this private key does not matter. But here at the top, you're going to get variable, obviously. You can do environments. Actually, this is not obviously, but in this case, this is what we're using. Down here for visibility, you have the option to do visible, masked, or masked and hidden. The reason why we're just doing visible is it's just easy for this lab. Otherwise, if you do these, you do have to do a workaround, is because of this error here. So just go ahead and do visible. Use a description if you would like. Here's going to be pretty much the variable name, the name that you're going to specify in your pipeline. So this is important to keep note of. And then you're going to go on to your, whatever you want to do to maybe open up Notepad or wherever your private key is, go ahead and get that contents of that file and just go ahead and copy and paste it in here. And that's it. So let's go back over to the build tab and check out how the job is running. It looks like we failed, so let's go see what's going on there. Okay, so it looks like for whatever reason, right here, we were not able to kill it. And we will fix that now. So let's go ahead and fix that real quick. All right, so as you can see, it passed. All we had to do was just add the Ubuntu user, as this was just a new environment. We added the Ubuntu user to use Docker without running sudo. So as you can see, like in the pipeline editor, we could now get rid of these. Obviously, I used the new command here, or when I put in this command here, I did not add sudo. And I just thought, let's just get rid of it. So now technically I can just remove sudo because this user is now able to run Docker without elevating its permissions. Great. So now with that passes. Now what I want to highlight, obviously the whole point of this video, is if we go back into our files here, and we're just going to do a quick edit. We're going to go into our server.js, and we're just going to change it here. Edit single file, and then we're just going to change the hello Docker, and we're going to put hello world, hello YouTube. How about that? We're going to hit commit changes. As soon as we commit, we should get a job running. So now we're running the build job, right? So it's going to go ahead and build out everything for us. Build succeeded. Now if we go back into jobs again, we should see our deployment job running, or maybe completed. Here it is running. Okay, it's complete. So it looks like I killed it, or pulled it, killed it, brought in, and then started the new one. So if we go back over here and refresh, we should now see we have hello YouTube. And that's going to close out today's video. So just a quick overview of what we went over. Today's video, we added to our pipeline, and in here we created a new job and a new stage. And we pretty much just SSH into our EC2 instance to update the web server by using the latest Docker image that we go ahead and build. And then we pull that into our EC2 instance, and then we kill it, and then we run it. So we have the latest information, or the latest website that we had just updated. So that's going to close out today's video. I think that might close out this playlist for now, because I think I want to actually get more structured tutorials for this. I kind of just started piecing this together as I was going through the first two videos. So I think I definitely want to cover it a bit more structured, as I think there's a lot of content that could be covered just within this kind of beginner style tutorials. And I think it will be useful for those that are just getting started. But if you have any questions, definitely drop a comment below. And as always, never stop learning.